Thomas, it's really good to see you. We want to remind everybody that the clock is ticking on those 2022 conversions. If you're considering converting an IRA to a Roth IRA in 2022, we're going to break down what you need to know. But first, we're going to start with a big misconception, and that is the date and the deadlines. A lot of people think that they can be done up until the tax filing deadline, but that's not right.
It's absolutely not true, right? So any conversion that you're going to do is going to be considered for that year, and you have to do it by the 31st, December 31st. That is the deadline. If you decide to do it in January of next year, it's going to count for that year from a tax perspective.
So now let's break down how this works. If I convert my IRA to a Roth IRA, I am potentially facing a pretty big tax bill this year.
Yes, well, that depends. It depends on what tax bracket you're in and potentially the amount that you're converting over. If you have a large, IRA and you're looking at doing the whole thing, it may not make sense. It may make sense for you to do a smaller amount and maybe do another amount next year. So you really want to consult with your tax advisor on this to figure out what is really going to work for you and and what the tax implications are in regards to moving over that actual traditional IRA to a Roth.
Tax implications, definitely a number one consideration as we work to determine if a conversion is right for us. Here are some other considerations, right, Thomas?
Yes, for sure. So you want to think about what current tax bracket you're in, how much you're going to pull over, and what tax bracket that's going to put you in. When you look at Roths, there's a 5-year rule. If you're under the age of 59 and a half, you can't touch that money for 5 years. Otherwise, there's a penalty. So there's a couple things you may want to really consider. And then also, if there's any other sources of income that you may have, you want to make sure that you're in a good situation to where you may not need to have that money.
And it's worth repeating. A lot of people think they're going to be in a lower tax bracket when they retire, but that's not necessarily true.
Right. Believe it or not, clients that I have, they've done well for themselves. When you're pulling money out later in life, you would think that you're making less income. But if your investments are performing, guess what? You may generate more income in retirement than you did in your working years. So this is a major misconception when you think about, okay, when I retire, I'll be in a lower tax bracket. That's not necessarily true. So you want to plan for that. And I know that we had discussed tax rates before. We are in one of the lowest tax environments in the history of our nation. However, that's going to be changing pretty soon. I don't know if it's going to go back to the time when it was, or the rates when it was in 1945. I hope it doesn't.
I wish.
But we will see it increase over the next several years.
Oh, yeah, not 1945. I got that wrong. I was looking at 1913. I want those rates, Thomas.
Oh, well, yeah, that's beneficial right there for sure, right? But I don't think that's going to happen with $31 trillion in debt. So
right.
Pay that back. So
yeah. And I just want to ask one more thing. I've heard about Roth ladders before. What are they? How do they work?
Yeah, essentially what I just stated. So you might want to think about let's just say if you have $100,000 in a traditional IRA, it may make sense for you to do, 40,000 this year to convert into an IRA, maybe 30,000 the next year, and then maybe $10,000 the following year. However, the math works out on that. That way, you can take advantage of the lower tax rates, and then you can still move your money systematically over to a Roth.
Okay. Thomas, this is really helpful. And again, just a friendly reminder to everybody that the clock is ticking for 2022. If somebody has questions about this, what's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, first, definitely go to my website, Martin Heritage Group, LLC.com. They can give me a call at 651-503-6064. And they can also shoot me an email at info@martinheritagegroup.llc.com. And then I'm also on all social media platforms at Martin Heritage Group.
All right, Thomas, thank you.
Thank you.